And we say, hey, Alvagh, we're going live any second now. Who do you want to do a shout out to?
I'd like to do a shout out to my cousin Deirdre Brennan, who put us in touch, Michael, and also to my publisher, and Ashley and
Okay, we're going to go with that. Cousins and publishers, here we go. Hey guys, I'm excited today to have Alvagh Cronin on the show. Alvagh is an Irish author and Reiki master. She's written and published her first novel called The Bridge of Now, which is a heartwarming tale of 3 generations of a family. She'll also share spiritual wisdom with her online course, which is called The Bridge of Now, Dance with Your Heart. And I'm excited to welcome you and talk about these things. How are you doing, Alvagh?
Oh, I'm doing great, Michael. Thank you so much for having me on. It's lovely to talk to you again.
Excellent. Well, so everyone knows we are coming live from, you are in Ireland, and I am in the U.S. in Texas. We've been experiencing just a tiny bit of connection problems here. So if things freeze, guys, bear with us. Okay. So Alvagh, let's jump into the book. That's to start, The Bridge of Now. Tell us a little bit about the book and just what is the book about?
Okay. Well, the Bridge of Now is my first novel. I wrote it. I had always been going to write a book. I had come across so many stories in my job as a Reiki and Seichem healer. And I had always wanted to kind of put a story around it because, you know, there's so much wisdoms. And during the pandemic, I ran out of excuses, Michael. And I also came across a writing course run by Kathleen McGowan and her partner, her publishing, Astara Jane called Divine Writing Journey. So I joined up with that course and I wrote the book, just really wrote within the structures of that course. So the story it's a circle of life story, really. It's a story about a family, like you said, 3 generations of a family. It begins with a young mother leaving an abusive relationship with her toddler son. And then the stories grow out of those generations as they grow, as that little boy, Daniel, grows up and meets and marries and has his own children. And there's a beautiful mystical lady who kind of winds her way in and out of the story. And her name is Alvagh. She is kind of like the truth teller, you know. She's like the divine feminine, the earth herself. She's that lovely nurturing presence, and she kind of appears at pivotal times during. Then there is a little at the end of the novel when we find out who she really is. So the themes, I suppose, of the novel are about love, family, abandonment, obviously abuse, but forgiveness. There's also like depression and anxiety, a little bit of that, sorrow, but also kind of rebirth and that essence that we have as humans, you know, to get up and try again. So it tells that story of the great human spirit, you know, throughout the little stories.
Does the book reflect any of your own life or the life that you've had as a teacher and as a Reiki master, or is it all completely fictional?
It is all completely fictional. It really is. I mean, I suppose there are aspects of myself in maybe all of the characters, but then, you know, you don't necessarily have to have experienced something in order to know it, you know. I mean, I do believe that as humans, we are, you know, all like a collective, really, so that we understand all of the human characteristics and, you know, so some bits of it maybe about my life, but I couldn't, you know, my sister, when she was reading it, she said, oh, here I am, because there's 2 sisters in it and one of them is 7 years younger. And she said, oh, here I am. and it's not her, you know. So
She thought it
it's
was her.
not
That's a good.
yeah. Yeah.
Maybe other people might read it and see their families in it. What is it that you
Oh,
want people to get out of the book? Is it simply enjoyment, or are you teaching a lesson in the book?
oh yeah, no, definitely. I'm doing less. I mean, I gathered, like I've found that everybody is called to, you know, spiritual workshops and spiritual devotion and Reiki and Seichem and all the things that I have done. But everybody, Michael, is called to have a happy life and to be content and in a loving relationship with themselves, you know. So that's really why I wrote the book, because I felt that the same themes were coming up for me here in my healing room with people, the same themes, like around boundaries or, you know, rebirth or forgiving somebody, or how would you do that. And I just thought that if you would put a story, it would reach people who will never come through my door, you know. But that, and the best way to learn, I suppose, is by hearing somebody else's story. That's why the parable works so well, you know,
Yes.
since I started telling stories.
Yes. And how do you find
But
that
we want, I
there's parts
suppose,
of the book that I think are just great. There's one part where you talk about your who you trust, I guess, tell stories to and listen to, and you make an analogy of the people that look over the fence, and you've got your kitchen table people, and you've got your fireside people.
yes,
So tell us about
yes.
that part. I love that analogy.
Okay, I this is really the boundary story, I suppose, that I kind of got to thinking about. I used to think that as a healer, Michael, I didn't need boundaries, you know, that I just had to be open-hearted, and boy, was I wrong. And when I started to think about the relationships I had and the relationships that we all had, I kind of categorized them in three different ways. So we
Okay.
have the garden wall people, and I reckon that there are about 80 of our human interactions. They're the people, you know, the friends of friends, the people we socialize with, the people that we meet. We can have a different reaction to them. We can either hide and run away and pretend we don't see them, or pretend we're on the phone, or, you know, or we can, hi, how are you? And have a lovely conversation with them. These are like a huge amount of the kind of interactions we have with people. And
Wow.
I reckon about 80%. And then I reckon that 20% of our relationships are kitchen table people. And they are the people who see more of you. You know, they see your heart. They know your story. They know who you are. They usually bring something to the table. They are your confidants, the people that you love. And they relationships. And then we have room, and the fire people, you're in a lifetime if you can count them on this hand.
Right.
Champions, you know, the people who are really, really close, and also your children up until the age that they're able to look after themselves. And I found that the problems occur when there are garden wall people in your fireside room. And,
That
you
would
know,
be a
they
huge
don't like
problem.
your curtains. Yeah. So it kind of, you know, you're trying to impress them, or, you know, and they're just out of their place. They're not in the right place in your life. That you can have lovely relationships, like I say, with garden wall people. You don't have to bring them in. And I kind of, in the book, she tells that story to Daniel about Alvagh. Most of the wisdoms in the book come from what called Alvagh. And she tells Daniel to that how he overextended himself for a boss, and really the
Mhm.
boss wasn't more important than, you know, his close people, his kitchen table people. So
Is
that was that
that
one.
story,
Yeah. So,
is that something that you learned in your life yourself? Like, how did you
oh yeah.
come up with that story?
No, oh, big time. Did I learn that story? Well, I suppose, and I suppose all this work is about looking at the relationship with self, Michael. And I would always have really worried about what other people thought of me, and if people liked me. This would have been one of my big struggles in my teens and 20s, and 30s, really, I suppose. But I came to realize that this was what was happening. My fireside room was full of garden wall people, and I needed to have more respect for my own boundaries. You know what I mean? So that was how it came. And then I started to use it with people who were coming to me for healing, and it made sense to them. So that's why I decided to include it in the book. Yeah.
I think it's a absolutely beautiful analogy for relationships. And I've actually started looking at people that way and go like, let me just look over this wall and talk to you now. I
yes,
really
hello,
do enjoy
how
that.
are you?
Yeah.
Yes, Michael. Yeah. And it's not a mean thing, Michael.
No.
It's not a mean thing. Like, you're not making judgment about anybody. You're just trying to make the relationships flow easier.
Yeah. Now, your book and your course that you teach online are both named similarly. And I assume that the book and the course sort of go together. And I think you've got, 6 different parts to your course. Let's talk about those different parts and how the course comes together and what you try and teach people in there.
Lovely. Okay. Well, the book is at the back of it a little guidebook about how you might kind of bring the wisdoms into your life. But then a course really did grow out of it, and the course kind of puts a structure on, like, it tells clearly in a modular way what I'm telling in the story of the book.
Okay.
And what's reflected in the lives of the characters. So I do it in a 6-week modular way because I found a formula as to get our polarity quite high on love, abundance, joy, and all of that, and also tame our reactions to other people. So I call it treats, TREATS. So it's tell the story, listen to yourself down to the very, very last detail, that this is what we have to do with the big stuff in our life. Get help if you need it, but be thorough. Be thorough with your story and who you are. Be compassionate with yourself. Listen to yourself expressing your concerns around aspects in your life. And then the R is release, and that's 2, where we look in how would go move, releasing the tense, getting control of the fear, ego babble in the mind. That's all week 2. And then week 3 is E, embody. So to start a new relationship with the physical body that we're in, because we're not doing any of this, Michael, if our physical body isn't happy and healthy, So to listen to the whisperings of our body, that's your E, tell the story, and then affirm and align. So the second part of the course is all about kind of creating the new. So we've cleared the baggage area in the first 3 weeks. And then in the next 3 weeks, it's all about affirming and aligning with the energy of transformation, which is the kind of the butterfly. And then week 5, new thing. And week 6 is off. That. And I reckon that this recipe as such has developed before my eyes in my healing room over the last 15 years. That it is really what people start to realize, that they matter, that their lives matter, that their actions, their loves, their disappointments, their hopes and dreams matter, and that they're very important in the big scale of things, you know.
I do. And if you
I
were going
have
to
a
get
theory.
one thing, if you were going to get that one message out to the audience that's watching us, and we've got several people watching, what is the message that you want people to take away from your book and from the course and just from your teachings in general? What is that overall message?
I think it's about the heart. It's about that we're always being told to keep our heads about us and, you know, to be sensible. I think that in these very precarious times that we need to have our heart about us, that we need to kind of return to love and return to the higher vibrational aspects that we have the ability to vibrate at within us, you know, despite the, you know, current geopolitical stress and all of that's gone on, we still have the potential to dance with our heart. Yes. So I think it's a message about love and about the heart, Michael. Yeah.
Excellent. Excellent. I think that having the acronym TREATS is so easy to remember. I think that's beautiful. I love the message that you're putting out about the book.
Yes.
I definitely want people to be able to get in touch with you. I think we can find you at alvaghcronin.com. We can also find you at facebook.com, The Bridge of Now. And we can also find you on Instagram at Alvagh11. So I'm going to leave that up so people can actually see it and be able to understand where to find you. Thank you so much for being on. It's been a little jittery with the internet, but your message is strong. I love it.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry. And I think, Michael, that's a part of that is because it's tea time here in Ireland. So people are coming home from work and the internet has all been sucked up. So I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about our connection.
I think I understood just fine. So hopefully our audience did too. And they will get in touch with you at your website, or they can get in touch with you on Facebook, which is beautiful. So thank you very, very much for being on. And we're going to have to talk again. I'm going to reread the book, and then we'll have to get back to this. Thank you so much. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you very much. Bye. So.
Bye-bye.